Hi, Mac. Looking forward to having a conversation with you. And I'm now making you a panelist, so we're going to be able to hear you and see your screen. Let me see. Can you unmute him? I don't know what happened to him when you had the screen.
Let me see, Coach.
Steve.
Hey, Dale, can you hear me?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, hi, Mac. How are you?
Hi, good. Just
All
testing
right.
out this new mic.
Thank you so much for joining
It
us
works.
today.
It works perfectly. We can hear you loud and clear. If you want to share your screen, you mouse over at the bottom of your screen. There is like a panel.
A green box that'll say share.
Yeah, there is a green button that says share, and then it's going to ask you if you want to take the screen away, and you do that.
Okay, great. All right, give me one moment.
And you can select which screen you want.
There we go.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Thank
How
you,
are you
Steve.
guys? How's everything going?
Good. TGIF, huh, Mac?
TGIF, absolutely.
Okay, so I found you on Twitter, Mac. I don't remember exactly what the tweet was, but it caught my eye, and I appreciate you coming to be here. You know, it's my belief that it's not always the most famous. It's not almost the most famous people that are the best traders with, 50,000, 250,000 followers, that they might be great marketers, but they may not be as great in the market. So, you're one of my searches for diamonds in the rough, and thank you for joining us today. How long have you been trading?
Going on about more or less about two and a half years.
Okay, so fairly new. Why don't you tell us what you were doing before that, and how trading happened to you? Who introduced you to it, and were there any influences, or are you self-taught?
I'm partially self-taught, but the way that this all kind of started, it was kind of a bit of a crazy story, but I was a sales manager for many years, and I was hiking with my girlfriend upstate. I live in New York. I fell off a cliff, so broke both my legs at the time. I was in a wheelchair for about a year.
Wow.
And got fired from my job. And I'm like, what? What is this? So I switched. After I ended up rehabbing, came back around. I changed careers. I went back to school. Now I work in healthcare, and I wouldn't say the money's as great, but it's more fulfilling. So, long story short, while I was in the hospital rehabbing, this was back in 2015. I learned about Bitcoin then. I said, "Whoa, what's this?" I bought some. I traded it. Made a little money, lost a little money. Kind of forgot about it. Fast forward to 2017. My father was mentioning, Ether. He said, "Hey, this Ether stuff is going way up, and it's interesting." So we both put a sizable amount of money in. We invested in, I believe, two ICOs, and we made some money, and then flipped it into Bitcoin. This was back in about October 2017. So we purchased Bitcoin then, and just rode.
What was the price in October 2017?
What was it?
What was the price back then?
Then I believe it was in the. I'm just going from memory.
Under 1,000, right?
No, October 2017. It was around the 5Ks, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right. So you were long for that whole blow off into 17,000. Did you? To me, one of the most difficult parts of trading is holding a position. Right. So, it's easier to make the call and make the trade, but having the patience, that parabolic move, I almost think you have to either be naive or greedy to be able to sit that long. But what were you doing last year, at the end of last year, when we were trading, or it was the year before, up around 18,000?
It was a big distraction. I mean, I was really new to the whole thing, and I took a lot of my attention. I just focused on it every day. I didn't know why it was going up or when it would go down. I just was kind of following the big accounts on crypto Twitter, trying to see what was going on. So I sold around 15K.
Nice.
I sold around 15K. I ended up convincing my father to sell too. And then sometime around I would say January, February, I noticed that my father was back in and he was losing money. So he was following, I won't mention the names, but, 2 accounts on Twitter. And he was, basically mimicking what these traders were doing. And he was losing money, losing tons of money. And I took it personally because he also lost money many years ago during the dot-com era on Cisco. He had lost quite a lot of money back then. So I took it upon myself to learn how to trade, to try and help my father, gain the money back that he lost. He's actually a waiter, by the way. So, hardworking guy. He's been doing that for many years.
Okay.
So I was basically trading the normal way most traders trade on crypto Twitter with MACD, RSI.
Yeah.
Bearish.
You're pretty naked right now.
Yeah, I'm very naked right now.
All right. Make sure your shades are drawn. All right, buddy. Anyway, just in case there are any peepers there. So, okay. So you tried some momentum indicators. Why did you let them go?
I was losing money. I mean, for the most part, also, I started with MACD and RSI, and it really wasn't helping. It just was not really I wasn't making money. Either I was breaking even or I was a little bit in the negative. So I noticed when I was looking at price, I mean, just to kind of explain one other thing. So I work in healthcare. I'm a physician's assistant. That's what I do.
All right.
And to become, it was quite a change from sales to physician's assistant. But to become a physician's assistant, you have to take physics, organic chemistry. And in the sciences, we learn, that you have to look at everything and look for patterns. You want to look for patterns in science. You also want to look for patterns in your patient, in their vitals. So when I'm looking at this chart, I'm like, you know what? I'm seeing some patterns and they're starting to come together. Let me try something and see if this works. So I started to make basically a trading book, a personal trading book that I have listed with fractals. And I was looking for, replications and price patterns and everything from NASDAQ to Bitcoin, from Bitcoin 2017, 2018 compared to 2013. I posted a lot of this on Twitter and it started to kind of come together. And I'm like, okay, this is working. And
So your healthcare background drove you to fractals.
Yes. Well, it was a science. It was a science.
I hate to use a pun, but what a lucky break. What do you think, Mac? I mean, a lot of things happen that way in life. Things that you think are a disadvantage for you or a crisis actually turn out to be something that worked for you. And it sounds like falling off a cliff, like Wile E. Coyote, actually longer term changed your whole life. And I bet you're a lot happier now than you were when you were a sales manager.
Significantly happier. And
okay. There are 2 kinds of sales managers, right? Ones that have been fired and ones that will be. You ever hear of that?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I still have a lot of friends in there. It's the telecom industry. I mean,
yeah.
Some of them may be listening right now. They may recognize me. I'm pretty well known.
So science, the healthcare background led you to looking at fractals.
Yeah, it did.
In what way? How did healthcare lead you to look at fractals?
When you look at the patterns of, basically the rhythm of the heart and, how it's supposed to look, especially now I'm going to biology. That really, kind of meshed well with what I was seeing on the screen. I'm like, okay, there's a pattern, with the rhythm of the heart. And it seems to be there's a pattern with price too. I also noticed when I was digging through my old chemistry notes, when you look at the atomic structure has, many different types, tetrahedron and so on, many different types. And with atomic structure, there's specific fractals for each type of, atomic structure and atom and things of that nature. So I just I said, okay, I have to focus on price and look for patterns. I have to look for patterns. And they just started to come together. You know, I posted a fractal on Twitter right around December 2018, you know.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, comparing what we're seeing right here on the screen to 2015, and that fractal played out very well.
Beautiful.
Now the fractals, they don't always work, so
nothing always works.
No, so I have to move forward with volume. Now, as you said, I trade volume. I mean, I trade naked, and a mentor that I have online, his name's Mr. Jaza. He's pretty well known. You know, he had a discussion with me at one point mentioning that you know, volume precedes price. So I started to really focus on volume, and that's really all I use for the most part. Anything that has to do with volume, you know, heat maps, order flow, things of that nature. I don't use any indicators besides
Okay,
that.
so that's a great point, and I believe in the theory. But then how do you explain all the red bars on volume, especially late, really since the bottom? You had big down spikes in March and big ones in May and June, and the market continues higher. How do you explain, how did you interpret those high volume down days or selling volume for a continuation move to the upside?
Okay. Well, on the chart here, I actually have, this is incorrect. I have to change the volume setting.
Oh,
so
okay.
When I'm looking at, you know, for instance,
that's a different picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm looking at like, when I'm looking for a bullish volume, I'm looking for basically seller exhaustion. So like a high, for instance, right here, like a very, you know, large amount of selling, predominantly.
But it was a beach ball. They couldn't keep it down there.
I'm sorry, what?
It's like a beach ball underwater. They couldn't keep it down there on that red candle.
Correct. So
okay.
I'm looking for seller exhaustion. Another thing that I like to look for with volume that works very well, high to low. So, you know, we get a high spike, for instance, let me give you an example. Right here's a good one. High spike in volume, there was a breakout. Now, you see how volume's going down and price is kind of meshing lower? And now we're getting that inside green bar here. I'm looking for a move higher, you know, move higher. And in regards to bearish volume, you know, most of this is bearish to me. You know, it's very flat while price is going left and right.
Yeah.
And you can see that price was pinching together.
Yeah.
You can see that it's consolidating.
Compressing, so, yeah.
For the most part, price high, volume high, price low, volume low. I'm looking for a move higher.
So are you exclusively a crypto trader?
Right now, yes.
Okay. So one of the things I've been reading is with this tremendous move in the majors, which I consider, you know, in currencies, it's dollar pairs. And in crypto, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, that the altcoins have not really recovered. Are you seeing the same thing, that altcoins were kind of like pink sheet stocks and bulletin board stocks, that unless you have good PR and people come in and they actually pay people to buy it for volume, that's called investor relations.
Mm-hmm.
You seen anything with that disparity, maybe altcoins having a chance to move with the majors? Have there been some?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now at Link. I think Link looks good. 1 second here. Create a couple charts. Zcoin looks. Here we go. Okay, Link. Okay.
Okay. So
this
you
is a
trade
chart
these
that
too. Okay.
Yeah, this is a chart that I put together last night. These lines, just to explain, this is just a basic algorithm bot that I have that helps kind of see a little bit support resistance. But as you can see prices coming down, volumes coming down, just as it did back June 13th towards June 24th. And that, to me, that's a sign that there's a move coming, and I'm looking for a move higher here.
Okay.
Pretty basic pattern. It played out very well here. And then with, let's see, Zcoin, I'm seeing a fractal potentially move higher, based off this fractal. Price and volume are descending together, which is a good sign. But besides that, I look through most of the altcoins. I don't see really many others that catch my attention.
Okay.
Right now,
All right. Let me ask you this. There are a lot of people that are gold traders but don't own one gold coin. Okay, you could put any title on top of a chart and be a trader. Are you also a believer in the long-term story of mass adoption and hold Bitcoins in one of those electronic wallets? You own it and hold it, hold on for dear life, as a lot of crypto people say. Do you believe in the story, or are you just a trader trading candles?
I'm a trader trading candles. I don't trade news. I don't trade fundamentals.
But do you own Bitcoin? Do you own it and have possession of any crypto?
Yeah. I have possession. I have my own wallet here.
Okay.
And
is it leather?
what was it? No, it's not leather.
All right.
It's a digital wallet.
Same stale joke by Dale. All right. So if you're a trader of anything and it's all just charts, have you explored fractals in any other area besides crypto? Or, it's completely understandable if you just trade one sector, one type of asset class, because I knew guys on the floor that never left one trading pit and did quite well. You don't have to be diversified in a million things, do you, Mac?
No, yeah, I see what you're saying there. You have a good point. I look at fractals, with other markets also, stocks. I posted a few charts. Do
you have anything there? I'd be interested in what your fractals are saying.
I see something with the Dow Jones right here that I was looking at last night, which is interesting. Again, I don't trade this market, but I'll post a chart. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it may be wrong. It's just something that catches my attention.
Okay.
So yeah, I see this. This right here, the 2011 area to 2015, and this fractal speaks to me. I mean, it really does catch my attention. I think it's something. I'll post this later on today. To be aware of. So based off this, potentially, we could see a move towards, the 24 area here, 24.8.
And then blow. If the fractal's correct.
With fractals, what I noticed, I've been using them now for going on quite a few months, almost a year. I would be looking for this move down. After that, I would want to see the chart again, just to kind of get a feel for things. But after that, maybe a move higher, but I would be looking for a move towards 24.8, 24.9. And
it's a cool chart, Mick. Thanks for sharing it.
Thank you.
Do you have anything on like dollar or gold or any other fractals outside of crypto? Because I could kind of see that, it's hard not to see the bull case in crypto right now. So I'm wondering if there's anything else. And while you have that up there, Mac has kind of an unusual handle. So that's not MO, that's M0, right?
Yes, I actually did want, I just wanted Mac, but it wasn't available.
So a lot of people, will look for you and they'll put MO in there instead of M0. So to follow Mac right there, write down his Twitter handle. I think he's a great follow. And now that I know he's looking at these fractals. Oh, look at this. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got? Everything higher.
No, you know what? Fractal wise, that's really all I had prepared. But I can show you something from the past that really that worked out well. It was a response to JC Peretz, but it was a fractal that I noticed back in December 2018. Bitcoin, silver. As you can see, silver was making a move higher already. Bitcoin was consolidating, and then when we fast forward to April 2019. We could see Bitcoin in a way followed the path of silver. It did make a move higher also.
I've never seen that comparison made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But the reason I bring that up actually, because it's very pertinent and it connects with kind of something we mentioned earlier. that I mentioned earlier about the Dow. You see how silver did make the move up and Bitcoin followed in a way. After this, the charts diverged, and I really wasn't basing anything else, any other moves off of the silver fractal. I just kind of moved forward from there.
Okay, that's an interesting take on fractals, because a lot of people you look for fractals to give you a key for the next move, not for the next year, just for the next play.
Yes.
And then you reassess the fractal. So, that's a pearl right there, Mac, because a lot of people marry these fractals and think that they're going to just continue to repeat as time moves forward. Mm-hmm. So I learned something from you about fractals, that you could dissect them and, not have to follow them for 6 months, but just look for the one key comparison and go with it, and then really not have an expectation that they're going to continue to repeat or rhyme for the long term. Do you ever find any that do repeat for the long term over, say, not just one move, but several moves in a row?
Yes, actually, I posted a really nice one. Let me just pull it up here. Here we go. Let's see. Not this. One moment.
And that's a good picture of you right there, Matt. That's when you were an insurance salesman, right? All right. Anyway.
Yeah. You're a funny guy, Dale.
When I dress like that, I was having lunch with W.T. Gann and Jesse Livermore, and I've been around, buddy. All right,
cool.
So
I know you guys don't have a lot of time, but I mean, if
we have time,
but I posted a nice fractal, a couple nice fractals on Bitcoin that worked out well. I don't have to scroll through it now, but for the most part, just to answer your question, I'm looking for a move, going basically a week to maybe 3 weeks out, but not longer than that. I mean, I wouldn't say macro is my specialty. I'm more of a short-term to mid-term, trader, and I see things really well over the next week, 2-3 weeks for the most part.
That can change for the most part. Just trade your own account, or do you have any kind of business model? Do you teach? Do you have a service?
I have a group. I have a small group with a few hardworking traders that we've been, two of which have been working with me, and we've been, working off each other going on for quite a few months now, and things are going really well. I haven't expanded, in any realm yet, but I have a small group of hardworking traders, and we all kind of bounce off each other. And
it's great to have a community. We only have 2 eyes, right?
Yeah. But I do trade for my father, and I also trade. I do trade for myself, so it's been going well.
Thank you so much for being here. Like it or not, you're now my trading warrior, brother.
Thank you, Dale, for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Mac, it was great, and thank you for being here to edify our community and give us a different take on fractals. And what an interesting journey you had, from really your legs being broken led you to all of this and a different career. What a great story. So I hope that pips continue to rain down on you, and you continue to help people with both their health and their financial health as a trader. So good hunting to you, buddy.
Thank you, Dale. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. That's Mac, and you could follow him at M0 CKK and learn about fractals from Mac. Mac, have a great weekend, and let's do this again and keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dale. Take care.
All right. That's a wrap for us, everyone in F.A.C.E. Have a great weekend. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See everyone Monday. Adios.